Chloe, let me tell you a really strange story I heard in Korea. It's called The Sattva Bestowed by the Heavens. A long, long time ago, in a small village in Korea, there lived a man named Bong-pal. He was incredibly poor and lived alone with his widowed mother. Then, one day, he was heading home, feeling defeated after failing to find work again, when he heard a neighbor shouting urgently. Apparently, his mother had taken a bad fall on a ridge between the rice paddies. He rushed home to find his mother groaning in pain. Seeing her injured leg, his heart just broke. She was already so old and frail that even threading a needle was a struggle for her. And now she'd gotten hurt just trying to help out because of him, her son. He swore to himself that night. He thought he absolutely had to find work the next day so he could at least afford to make her a rich, warm bone broth. But the next day, the world was just as cold. He couldn't find anything by the time the sun set and was walking home with his shoulders slumped. That's when he saw a drunk old man stumbling down the dark road, leading a huge ox. Looking at that sturdy ox, Bong-pal couldn't help but think of his sick mother. Right at that moment, the old man slurred something to him. He challenged Bong-pal to a match of ssireum, a type of traditional Korean wrestling. If he won, he said, he could have the ox. Isn't that just absurd? Bong-pal thought so too at first. The old man looked like he could collapse at any second, so he figured it was just drunken nonsense and tried to send him on his way, but the old man wouldn't budge. In the end, thinking of his mother, he felt like he had to grasp at any straw, so he agreed. But the moment they gripped each other's satka, that's the cloth belt they use in ssireum, Bong-pal knew something was terribly wrong. The skinny old man's arms were hard as steel, and he could feel a strength that just didn't seem human. The match went on all night long. No matter how hard Bong-pal tried, the old man didn't move an inch. Instead, he was the one who kept getting thrown by the old man's bizarre techniques. And the old man kept muttering, as if he were teaching him that ssireum wasn't just about strength. You had to read your opponent's center of gravity and use technique. Eventually, as dawn approached, Bong-pal just collapsed from exhaustion. Who knows how much time passed, but he woke up to the sound of the morning rooster, and what he saw was horrifying. The old man and the ox were gone. In their place, there was only an old tombstone and a moss-covered stone statue of an ox. After that, Bong-pal was sick for 3 days and nights, racked with an unexplainable pain. When he finally managed to drag himself outside, he saw a crowd gathering in the village square. A wrestling ring had been set up, and a famous, undefeated champion was offering his own ox as a prize. Bong-pal just stared blankly at the ring. And that's when it happened. As he watched the champion's movements, the strange techniques the old man had used on him all night long flashed through his mind, as vivid as someone were whispering them in his ear. As if possessed, he walked into the ring and challenged the champion. Everyone thought he was crazy, but something unbelievable happened. Every time the massive champion pushed forward with his strength, Bong-pal used the techniques he'd been subjected to, redirecting the force and striking at his weak points. Finally, at the very moment his opponent's balance shifted forward, Bong-pal instinctively used the old man's final technique and slammed the champion onto the sand. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Bong-pal won the ox he had so desperately dreamed of. He said that as he led it home, he couldn't stop the hot tears from streaming down his face. He ran to his mother and told her not to worry anymore, that he would take care of her now. After that day, the villagers supposedly started calling Bong-pal the Sattva bestowed by the heavens. Chloe, do you think his devotion to his mother really moved the heavens? Or that old man, who or what do you think he really was?